Breaking news from the desk of Jamie, who last week, and I have the transcript, described a seagull as a movie star. Direct quote. Sammy the seagull is a movie star, Alex. Audiences love that bird. That bird made $15 million and is now nowhere on this week's chart. The seagull has left the building.
Okay. First of all, Sammy is resting. Sammy is recouping. Sammy will return. Second of all, welcome back everybody to Umpire Magazine, The Hot Take. I'm Jamie. And the man reading my words back to me like a divorce lawyer is Alex.
Hello? I'm here. I'm tired. And the box office has somehow gotten worse since last week, which I genuinely didn't think was possible. We went from aggressively average to what the magazine is calling a depressing, all-you-can-eat buffet of mediocrity, and honestly, I think that's generous.
Okay, but before we dive in, Alex, we need to address the elephant in the room. The mammoth, the 10 out of 10 mammoth.
Don't!
Bite Hard got a 10 out of 10. A perfect score. The Coen brothers film, the one you endorsed last week when you said on this very podcast, they don't make bad films. You were right, Alex. The critics literally called it outrageously good.
And it made $737,000. That's not a box office gross, and I'm stealing this directly from the magazine because it's perfect. A rounding error with delusions of grandeur. I finally back a winner and nobody goes to see it. This is my life.
But you were right, though. Admit it. Say it into the microphone. You, Alex, the human rain cloud, correctly predicted a masterpiece.
I predicted a masterpiece that earned less than The Sex Files. Remember The Sex Files? The VHS tape found in a skip? That thing made $243,000 this week. Bite Hard, the perfect 10, made $737,000. Both numbers that wouldn't cover a modest London flat deposit, to borrow the magazine's delightful phrasing. One is a 10, one is a 3. Cinema is broken, and I am vindicated in my misery.
Okay. But can we at least celebrate that The Raven also got an 8 out of 10? There is quality out there, Alex. Quality finds a way. I said that last week about Hard Peanut, and I'm saying it again now because it remains true and beautiful.
Quality finds a way into an empty theater, apparently. But fine. Let's talk about what actually topped the chart, because it's genuinely bleak. Cave Lost. $23.4 million. 4 out of 10. A film about being lost in a cave, which the magazine says audiences will spelunk into if the marketing spend is large enough. Spelunk. They used spelunk as a verb. I respect that.
And look, I'm not going to defend Cave Lost as art, but 23 million is 23 million. People wanted to see it. Sometimes you just want to sit in a dark room and watch other people sit in a darker room and, okay, I'm hearing myself, and I don't love where this is going.
The top two films in the country, Cave Lost and Curse of the Mummy 2, have a combined gross of $47 million and matching 4 out of 10 scores. The magazine says they're wearing those scores like dunce caps at a shareholders meeting. Last week I complained that the two biggest films averaged out to a 5. We have regressed. We are now averaging a 4. We are going backwards as a civilization.
But The Great Escape scraped a 5, and One Long Car Chase and Sheriff Cooper both got 6s. There are islands of tolerability, Alex. The magazine calls them islands of above average in an ocean of 4s, and I choose to see the islands. I am an island person.
You're a man clinging to driftwood and calling it a yacht. Meanwhile, Earth 1.0 is pulling nearly $9 million a week on a 3 out of 10 because, and this is the magazine's analogy, not mine, it's like a restaurant with a health code violation staying packed because the neon sign is pretty. That's the state of play. Pretty signs and food poisoning.
Okay, but speaking of things we predicted, remember last week when you roasted WrestleMax for the misspelled poster? The WRESLTE situation? You said the typo had achieved sentience?
Still misspelled. Still on the poster. And it made $1.1 million against a 3 out of 10. The magazine says someone in marketing is presumably updating their CV. The typo outlived the film's commercial viability. I am genuinely proud of it.
And game over. 607,000. Living up to its title with, wait, the magazine says, an almost poetic commitment to failure. That's devastating. That's beautiful. That's devastatingly beautiful.
Now, can we please talk about the press release? Because the Anubis Corporation, actual corporate letterhead, declared, and I need you to hear every word of this, all-out trading card war on Pitch Black Studios.
Trading card war, Alex. Not a market strategy. Not a polite business disagreement. Full thermonuclear trading card warfare, sent at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday in all caps. Mr. T typed that with his whole chest.
The Anubis Corporation's stock is at $0. Zero. The magazine asks whether you can fund a war without a war chest, and I think the answer is self-evidently no. This man declared war with the financial equivalent of pocket lint and a dream.
But the investors loved the bravado. Anubis stock got a 3.6% bump, which, granted, 3.6% of zero is still zero. But the energy, Alex, the sheer audacity. Traders saw a man screaming into the void about collectible cards and said, you know what? I believe in this man.
And Pitch Black's response was, and this is genuinely the funniest thing in the magazine, they changed their internal memo font to a more aggressive sans serif. That's it. That's the counteroffensive. Font warfare. Last week, we had the remake company changing from Garamond to Times New Roman and calling it cinematic. Now Pitch Black is weaponizing typography. Follywood has lost the plot entirely.
Meanwhile, Pitch Black's CEO apparently rejected 17 pages of the Ironhouse script for not being dark enough, and Ironhouse is opening Thursday at a 4 out of 10. They delayed the film to make it darker, and it's still mediocre. The darkness was not the problem, Pitch Black.
The man has 49 achievement unlocks and 0 challenge wins. The magazine calls him the trophy hoarder who can't win a bet. I've never felt so spiritually connected to a headline.
Okay, but the gossip section this week, I need to process this. Tom Vandenberga. Last week he was eating sad desk sandwiches and I defended him. I said it was humility. I said it was endearing. This week he's been spotted with a tape measure in the parking lot of the Fantasy Filmmaker Exchange building, measuring it, with the expression of a man who has already mentally moved in.
YMS stock is at $107, highest on the board, and the man is pre-measuring parking spaces previously occupied by studios now trading at literal zero. He went from sad desk sandwiches to corporate manifest destiny in 1 week. Your humble everyman is an empire builder, Jamie. You got played.
Okay, but also he was spotted sobbing into a penguin plushie after Pingu the Psycho Killer flopped with 7.6 million. So he contains multitudes. He measures parking lots. And he cries into stuffed animals. That's range, Alex.
He renamed the film Pingu the Box Office Killer on his personal whiteboard. That's not range. That's a man having a quiet breakdown with a dry erase marker. Meanwhile, Lens Flare Larry. Remember last week when he lost both his film and his glasses on the same Tuesday?
This week, he held an immersive investor experience that turned out to be a presentation projected at the ceiling. 3 analysts walked out and 1 stayed because he'd fallen asleep. Oof is trading at $45 and their CEO still can't aim a projector. The company name remains devastatingly accurate.
And Piet Snot, Planet of the Pigs guy, was caught whispering to a pot-bellied pig at the back lot, saying Planet of the Pigs was just the beginning. The pig then disappeared along with 20 coins from the petty cash tin. I don't know what's happening anymore. I genuinely don't.
The pig is an uncredited consultant, Alex. A consultant. Last week we had flying pigs dominating the box office, and now we have actual pigs stealing actual money. The prophecy is unfolding.
And then there's Yegod's Osiris, negotiating a distribution deal with a vending machine because it's the only partner willing to carry the last loop. A vending machine. The film has 0 fans. The vending machine has more loyal customers than this man's entire filmography.
Okay, looking ahead to Thursday. 8 new releases and almost none of them are good. But The Summer of Discontent. In Paris got a 6 out of 10. A Parisian political thriller set in 1973. That sounds genuinely fascinating.
The magazine says it sounds extraordinary on paper, but only delivers on some of that promise. So it's the cinematic equivalent of a holiday that's nice but not as good as the brochure. In this landscape, that makes it the best thing opening by a comfortable margin. Everything else is 4s and a 3.
Manic Miner got a 3 out of 10, and the critics say it descends into darkness and never finds its way back out. But not in the way the filmmakers intended. I actually laughed out loud at that. Pack your hard hats and low expectations, the magazine says. Hard hats.
We have Dr. No, which the magazine is very careful to specify is not that Dr. No, arriving at 4 out of 10 with theatrical pomposity. We have Iron House at 4 out of 10 despite Pitch Black's best efforts to darken it into quality. We have Flash Delirium, which wants to bend your mind but mostly bends your patience. It's a buffet line of disappointment and there's no exit.
But Alex, and this is where I need you to stay with me, Bite Hard exists. A 10 out of 10 masterpiece is sitting right there in cinemas, making no money and being perfect. If even one person listening to this goes and sees it, we've done our jobs. Someone get that film a megaphone, the magazine says. We are the megaphone, Alex.
We are a podcast with 2 listeners and one of them is my mother. But sure, Jamie, we're the megaphone. Go see Bite Hard. Go see The Raven. Stop giving your money to caves and mummies. This has been Umpire Magazine, The Hot Take. I'm Alex. I correctly predicted a masterpiece that nobody saw, and I will be accepting apologies in writing.
And I'm Jamie, the megaphone, the island person, the defender of seagulls and sad sandwich men, and pot-bellied pig consultants. And I will see you all next week when presumably everything will be 4s again. And Alex will find new and creative ways to be disappointed. Love you all. Love you, Alex. Bye.
You do not love me. Stop saying that. Goodbye.